Hi, everybody. Welcome to a new All of the Above movie review. And this time it's time for a series again. And not any series, it's Psycho. I just rewatched all four of them. And I really loved Anthony Perkins, who is the main thread through all four movies, playing the Norman Bates character. Yeah. And the first one is a black and white classic, of course, made by Alfred Hitchcock, which tells the story of a boy or a man who yeah owns a motel where people die at a gruesome death. It's based on a book by Robert Bloch. I read all of his books in the Psycho series, and it's totally different than the movies, but it's good on its own merit. If you like Psycho, you should also read the books. The second movie is good too. It picks off 22 years later. It's in color, and it's a real 80s horror movie. And it has Anthony Perkins redoing his role as Norman Bates, of course, and we get to see how he picks up his life after being institutionalized for 22 years, and as someone who has committed a murder has an insanity plea, so he was mentally not he was mentally ill when he murdered those people. um, we get to see how you get back into society after something like that happens to you. And yeah, it's full of bias for the people who are around him. They try to make him mad again. We also see people killed, and we get well, we get a lot of red herrings. But the end is very shocking and cool. And so it's a good sequel. It's a yeah, it's a good sequel. Psycho 2, of course, is a good sequel. Psycho 3 picks up a short time after that, and it's directed by Perkins himself. So it's wonderful. We get to see Norman Bates after the Psycho 2, after the events of Psycho 2. And it's good to see how yeah um he and with he I mean Anthony Perkins puts his own vision on the screen, as being Norman Bates in all three movies, of course. So he has a good grasp on the character. Um, it was a very good movie with a lot of horror. Like we were in the 80s, so the 80s was the time for horror movies. Then we got a few years later, it's in the 90s already, we got Psycho 4 at the beginning, and that was a straight to TV movie. But it tells the story of a young Norman Bates and how his mother, um, yeah, was an influence on his life, what happened, what his first victims were, and how his life is after the events of Psycho 3. Um, and it's a nice bookend to all four movies in total. It tells the story. This box set tells the story of Norman Bates from beginning to end. And like I said, Psycho is one of my favorite movies. And I just rewatched it, and mostly I do this annually. I think I've watched this box set since I had it almost every year, once every year. So yeah, I love Psycho. Sorry. One of the movies I found also in the Psycho series. It was kind of spin-off. It was Bates Motel. It was also meant to be a pilot for a TV series, and it has Burt Cord as Alex West, and Alex West was in a sort of alternative timeline because he was the roommate of Norman Bates in the sanitarium. Norman dies in that sanitarium, and Alex inherits the motel, and he wants to reopen it, and some people don't want him to reopen it, so they try to stop him. And there may be ghosts working their way through the series. Um, yeah, I loved it. It was low budget, but it had a cool haunting story. Um, when I picked it up, I watched it again. I hadn't watched it for ages before that because it's not streaming anywhere, and this DVD was hard to find. So when I found this is an Italian version, I think. Um, so that's the plus of Amazon. As long as it has English, yeah, English language, I can follow anything. So I don't need subtitles. So I loved Bates Motel, and I'm curious to see what kind of movie came out of, or what kind of series would come out of here. I love the Bates Motel series that came later, um, which also tells a story of the young Norman Bates, but then for a modern time, so it's modernized. It doesn't mean for a modern audience what it means today. So yeah, one of the worst things. I think this is the worst remake ever made. It's the Psycho remake from the 90s, and it's a shot for shot color remake. So it's just Psycho in color with different actors, and it's very bland. It doesn't have anything new. Um, I have it just to complete the collection, but I don't want to rewatch it too often because I want to keep I want to keep my dinner. So this was my Psycho collection. I wanna know what you think of Psycho. If you wanna tell me, let me know down in the comments. If you wanna like, and if you wanna subscribe, you can do that down there too. And that leaves me to say thank you for watching. See you next time.